shall I render to the Lord for all his bounty to me?
Welcome to Veiled in Grace. I'm Kyra.
And I'm Anna. We are Cradle Orthodox Christians
And we're here to talk about what it's like to be Orthodox women
in a very non-Orthodox world. So today I'm going to start with a little quote from Ecclesiastes 4:9-10. 2 are better than 1, for if they fall, one will lift up his companion. So I am reminded of a few years ago in 2020 when the world shut down.
Dun.
And suddenly everyone felt themselves pretty isolated and forced to go online to try to find something to do, a new hobby, friendship, community, support, answers to questions of what on earth is going on. And I think, during that time, people really realized and woke up to see how important community, in-person community, really is. Person to person, face to face. And so today I'd like us to talk not just about in general community, but also sisterhood, female community, supporting one another, women in our church, in our neighborhoods, in our families, and that how important it is to have sisterhood. Especially someone like me, I don't have sisters by blood. So I really need that sisterhood in my life of friendships. And I think it's how important it is because we can often isolate ourselves or feel like we're supposed to do it all alone. We're supposed to be able to do all the things. And
we can't do all the things.
We can't do all the things and we can't do it alone.
Absolutely.
And it's okay and good to ask for help and to help one another.
Yes. So I grew up having community and not realizing, looking back, what that actually meant or what it actually was, and having sisterhood. And what I've learned over the years is that you don't realize what you're missing until it's gone. So I have 2 sisters, one older, one younger. And my sisters and my mom and I did things together all the time. We were involved in many activities and sports, and we just plugged ourselves into everything that we did. Like we were 100% there for any sort of gathering, any sort of community, anything, because we did not like being just on our own and isolated. And when I was in high school, I was blessed to have a close group of friends. There were like 6 or 7 of us. And even to this day, I still do chat with them, not all the time, but we usually once a month have a video call with each other. And so through high school, I still had community. I had people that I went out and did things with. And we had church community that we would have outings with, and we'd go bowling and we would meet for dinners and just had people to do things with. And it wasn't until I got married, which would have been in 2018, and I moved away from my family, not far, but far enough that we couldn't see each other every day. And my husband and I moved to the church community that we currently are now a part of. But it was a very isolating time because I didn't know anybody. And I mean, I knew people because my husband and I had dated and I visited the church here often, but I really didn't know anybody. Like I didn't have good relationships with anyone that I could just text them. Most of the people at the church, I think at the time, I didn't even know their numbers. I knew their names and their faces from seeing them every couple weeks on Sunday. But I remember telling my husband at that time that I was really lonely. Like, I am an extrovert and I'm not used to just being by myself. So there was positives to it, but I got to kind of sit and think and feel that loneliness for probably the first time in my life, and come to realize in that moment that I cannot do this. I cannot go on living life with just my husband and I. And not long after we got married, I was pregnant. And then I had my first child. And again, I still was fairly like, we've been coming to this church for a year and a half and we were getting to know people, but we lived far away at the time. We lived in the winter months, 40 minutes away from the church and almost an hour from other people. And so I tried plugging myself into places like the library and other things. And it was fulfilling, but it wasn't. Like, it was nice to have interactions with other people, but there was an aspect of it that was missing. And I think the aspect of it that was missing was the fact that these weren't the people that were part of my church community either. So these are people that I'm friends with in a very secular world. And I'm not comfortable talking to these people that don't agree with me on their faith about needs and issues and things that I had going on in my life. And so I would say that it really was a blessing when we moved closer to the church, because just being in closer proximity to people that go to your church and are in that community, physically in that community and nearby to you, opens up the doors for so much more connection than I had experienced before. And I mean, you were one of the first people in this community that kind of, not that there were people here that were not welcoming to me, but you were one of the first people that really pulled me in and started showing me what it was like to live in church community. And I think part of that stemmed from the fact that we were both pregnant at the same time, you with your third and me with my first. And you were doing great things in our church to help teach people how to foster community, especially for pregnant women and for women that need things or need friendship or are trying to find community. Do you want to share a little bit about what community looks like in our church?
Yeah, so my goddaughter and I, we both were having, we had all had the same midwife, and she had had home births, and she had introduced me to the idea of mother blessings. And so we tried to incorporate that into our parish life. And so I do think it was when I was pregnant and you were pregnant, it was kind of the first time we were going to try to implement it at church. And it was such a beautiful gathering. It wasn't quite a typical mother blessing. It was more of like a shower, but baby steps. And so everybody had such a wonderful time and was so happy to be able to support pregnant mothers in their community, because it is hard for, if somebody's throwing someone a shower, to invite all of the women from church also on top of maybe all the family and friends. Like, that's a really big shower. So we realized that, no, we should be having our own church gatherings. You know, we should be supporting the community within. And so from there, we started, you know, a new tradition of, when there's pregnant mamas, we do a mother blessing. And now it's become much more common and popular. So there's even a website or a blog site that we can link to on how to plan a mother blessing for an expectant mother, because it's not quite the same as a shower. It's more about the mother, whereas showers are more about the baby. And not that we don't love babies, we love babies, but we also know the importance of taking care of the mothers, making sure they feel loved and supported and are going to have support after. You know, we try to set up a meal train to make sure that they get fed
And it's
wholesome
about
meals
praying for
and
the mother.
praying.
That's what always resonated with me, is that, I mean, I've gone through this cycle a few times now of mother blessings, but that's what makes the tears start and makes your heart feel good, is that you're surrounded by women who are not just there to bring you gifts for a baby, but they have come because they want to pray for you.
Yeah.
They want to tell you that they will be there if you need anything, and not just say it, actually mean it, because that's something that I feel like people struggle with in today's society, is saying, oh, just call me or text me if you need something. And then they don't actually do it.
Yeah.
But these people mean it. They mean, if you need something, I will be there for you.
Right. Yeah. And because it is hard to ask for help. So, we try to check in on the new moms and make sure, if they're having an issue, find somebody in the church who might be more knowledgeable on a certain issue that can help or assist. Because, up until the last century, people lived in villages and had that support, had the family all around, had the church all around. Like, even our church was founded because all the farmers lived in this community and built this church together, and they all lived there and close together. Whereas now we have people coming 40 minutes away or further on Sundays. And so it is more challenging to support one another, but we try to do the best we can with what we have, and just being able to pray over the mothers and share positive stories with one another and really get to the heart.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's the purpose of community? What's the origin of community? Like, for me, looking back, community is something that stems back to biblical times. Like, this is not this modern idea, despite the fact that it's gaining popularity, which is wonderful. I fully support women finding community. I look back and think there are examples of women that cared for each other and that were there for each other. And I know you have some examples that we've looked up to share about women who have led by example in showing others how to be there for someone and how to support someone in a time that they need it.
Yeah, so we have the Myrrh-Bearing Women. That's our number one example. The women who were the first witnesses of the resurrection. And they supported each other, and they were the ones to share the good news with the world, in a sense, and they took care of, Jesus's body. They were the ones that were just there, ready to do whatever was needed. The quiet behind the scenes people, they weren't Jesus's 12 apostles, but they were still right there. And they were the quiet ones, kind of caring for all the men.
The nurturing ones.
The nurturing ones.
It's
yes.
a beautiful role that women play in not just a women's community, but in a church community or in a family community, is that women are there to be the nurturing ones. They're there to offer someone a hug and offer them whatever they need and not look for anything in return.
Right. That's the gift of women. We're more sensitive, and we will see when somebody is more in need of something. We're a little more aware of that. And so we can be more compassionate and empathetic than maybe our male counterparts.
We're not dissing on men here, Anna.
No, absolutely
There are some
not.
very compassionate men in this world.
Absolutely. But it's our gift.
It is.
They have their gifts and strengths, and we have, as women, have our gifts and strengths. And this is definitely one of them, the nurturing, mothering side of it. Sisterhood. We also have Saint Macrina, who taught and inspired her brothers, Saint Basil and Saint Gregory. And Saint Olympias was a friend of Saint John Chrysostom, and she was known for her charitable community. So, these weren't people who were isolated. They were in the community, building networks of prayer and support, encouragement. And again, just did it quietly, though, humbly. We don't need to be like, oh, I did this for so-and-so. Like, we just do it because we love one another and we care for them. We don't want to see people struggling too much, you know?
And what it means to be a member of a community is to see the need of another and then fill it.
Yeah.
You get to the point that you're comfortable enough with other people that you see where they need help or where they need assistance, and you offer that to them. And that is refreshing, because while it is important, I feel like, for women to reach out and ask others for help when they're struggling, I think it's even more important for us as women to think of people other than ourselves, and think of the women and the people that are surrounding you and wonder, is there something that I could be doing to help them or support them or be there for them?
Yeah. And now we're seeing such an influx of people interested in the Orthodox faith, finding the Orthodox faith online, because everybody's just seeking the truth of the world. And it's leading them to Holy Orthodoxy, which is beautiful. Because, you know, you can look online for answers, but what everybody says is, come and see. Actually come to the church and experience it, because it's a community like no other.
There's a difference between having an online community and having an in-person community. And I mean, we joke, but not joke, about wanting to live in community and being surrounded by people of the same faith and of the same, upbringing and everything, because we know that those are the people that we can always count on. And my husband actually was born into community. So interesting little tidbit, but I mean, his family has always been very supportive of people living with others and helping each other and stepping in, and especially people with children. And it's difficult to raise children on your own. I really, really, I do not know how people do it. When I hear that they live somewhere and they have no family nearby and they don't have a lot of friends nearby, and then if they don't have a church community nearby, and you go, well, then who do you have?
I can't imagine. Yeah.
Who do you have if you don't have friends, family, or church? Like, who do you lean on when you need someone? And oftentimes it's nobody.
Yeah.
I mean, they can turn to prayer, and the Lord will always be there for them. But to have the tangible friendships that come out of community are invaluable.
Yeah. And now, with so many people coming to the faith with questions, we have this beautiful tradition in the church of coffee hour afterwards. And I love it, because the inquirers are always just like, oh, this is awesome. You guys eat all this food.
It's not an hour.
Right? It's not an hour. It's, what do they say? It's more than coffee and lasts more than an hour, because
Yes.
it's just, you feel good at coffee hour. It's like you're almost like on a high after liturgy. It's so beautiful. And then all of a sudden, you get to eat and drink with all these people and talk about,
And just enjoy the company of other people.
and talk about the faith or anything. But that for people to realize they're not alone in this journey, that we're here. If you have questions, we can help answer them. If you need something, here's a zucchini from my garden. Here's,
here's eggs from my chickens, and here's, what do you need?
Yeah, exactly. And, so you don't have to try to figure out the faith alone. We're in this together. And I know some other examples from our church is we do a ladies' Bible study, and once a month, led by our Matushka. And it's so nice just for the women to get together and be able to talk about, read the Bible or, a saint's book, and just discuss how that affects our daily life. And because we do have different struggles that only women are going to understand.
Yeah, only other women can resonate with.
Right.
Despite my 6-year-old being very upset that he's not invited.
Why is it
to
always
the
just for the
women's-
ladies?
Yes, ever the last time that we had our women's Bible study, and he's like, "Where are you going?" "Oh, to the women's Bible study." "Well, why don't the men have a Bible study?" "Well, they do, but this one's for the women, so you're going to have to stay home." He's like, "Well, that's not fair. It's always the ladies doing things." And I'm like, "Well, even if it is always the ladies doing things, it's probably because we need it."
Yes. Yeah.
It's because we need community and we need time to be with each other. It's why we go to women's retreats. It's why we go to ladies' Bible studies. It's why we gather to have outings together, because we need other women. I feel that in my day-to-day life, even outside of the church, I have a group of very close friends, and my life has just drastically changed since I met them, because they embody everything that is part of community. I guess I'll say outside of having the Orthodox faith, but we're getting there. They are believers. They are, they believe in Jesus, and we will ask each other to pray for each other. And so there's that aspect of it too. But like they're there as a community, and they always show up. And I've just been so impressed and inspired by these women that I've met, because they've taught me how to be there for someone when they need it, and that it's okay to not be able to do everything, like you mentioned. And I was just mentioning the other day how I'm like drowning in my 6 loads of laundry that are sitting there to be folded, because life has just been overwhelming and there's been a lot going on recently. And like they see the stress, they notice that that's an issue in my life, and they respond with, "We're coming over tomorrow. We'll be folding laundry. Our 14 children will all be there with us, but we're folding laundry tomorrow. See you at 10. And
That's so awesome.
And that's what community is about to me. That's what, like, you express something and they show up for you. And that happens in the church too. We have so many people within our church community that you don't even have to ask. I remember when I was preparing for the birth of my 3rd child, and I was planning a home birth and had a home birth, but I was going back and forth about whether or not I wanted my children there. And with my 2nd child, it wasn't a big deal, because my first slept through the entire thing. What a blessing. All night long. Had no idea it even happened. But I was like, I don't know if that's going to happen again. And my kids are all young. So at the time, it's like, well, I would have a, 3-year-old, I think, and a 2-year-old in my home. And I just don't know if I want to have to play the mother role. And I remember speaking to a woman at our church, and I had already made arrangements with my family that if I need you and we don't really want the kids here at the time, can we just call you at the last minute? And of course they were like, yes, we'll come get them. We live right down the street. But I didn't even ask. And this woman at the church was so lovely. And she was like, you call me if you need me to come get your kids any time of day. She's like, middle of the night, I will come get them for you. If you don't want them there, just let me know. And I'm like, that, just offering to aid people in any way that you can is such a beautiful thing.
Yeah. I mean, when I was expecting my first, I wanted a little more support, or not my first, sorry, with my 2nd, I wanted more support than I had. Like in my first birth, I was kind of like independent. I didn't want anybody.
We
like,
can do
around,
it
whatever.
all.
Yeah. So then by the 2nd one, I'm like, no, I wanted someone there. And my goddaughter, she was like my little doula, and was at the birth, and, held me while I was, to know that, know people that are able and willing to drop it all and come in the middle of the night and help you do that. Like, it's such a beautiful gift. And so, I mean, even if you don't have it at your church, or you live far away from your church, Like you
Find
can,
it.
you can find it in your own community. Find women who are Christian and like-minded and who can, support one another. I always say, like, I have my different groups of friends. I have my homeschooling mom friends, and I have my church
Yeah.
friends, and I have my high school friends and college friends. I have the different groups, and I love all of them. I might see or interact with some more than others at different phases of and seasons of my life, but it doesn't mean I don't love them and pray for them and, wouldn't do anything for them. So there's practical ways to nurture connection. And a big one is just to pray for one another. Like, that list in your bulletin that somebody painstakingly makes every week. There's a
Yeah.
list of people that need prayed for. Pray for them. Not just
Say
the
their
priest.
name.
Say their name. And because, yes, we can think about them and that's prayer too, but like actually saying it out loud. I
There
feel
is
like
power
there's
behind
power in
prayer.
it. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. Something else that we've done is we had our ladies, we did an Akathis group with, Psalms of Praise.
We did a Psalter group.
Sorry. Yes. Psalter, not Akathis. Psalter group.
So with our ladies, we did a Psalter group using the Psalms of Praise book. And it's another beautiful way to just connect women together, because then you are praying the Psalter together every day. And
Right.
it's something that that other women are doing alongside you, and you're not alone.
Yeah. And you don't have to be physically close to do that. People can do that.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's internet groups that can do that, that we can link to also.
So that's one issue that comes up, though, is that why can't we just be in community with people on the internet? Why isn't that good enough? Like, why do we need the tangible person that is next to us? And to me, I'm like, because they can't meet all of your needs in the way.
They can't fold your laundry.
They can't fold your laundry. They can't
bring you a meal.
show up in the same way.
Yeah.
They can't bring you a meal after you've had a baby. I think I had a year that it hit me, and I was like, I want to teach my children how to provide for people that need it. And I want to teach my children what it means to show up for your community. And might have overdone it a little bit. Made a lot of meatballs that year. But my kids were like, who had a baby this time?
Another week, another baby.
But it was great, because it was like, it's like, I want to raise my children to show them, like, if we have the time and we have the ability, then we should do something for someone else. And cooking meals for people, driving it to their house, not pressuring them to come into their house and kiss all over their baby and be in their space when they don't want you in their space, but just showing up and saying,
here's dinner.
I know a family member passed away. I love you and I care about you and I will be here however you want, but here's dinner for you. Or here's some cinnamon rolls for you.
Yeah.
Or here's some this for you. Like, here's something that I think will make you feel happy. Like, I'm trying to do this for you. And the beautiful thing of it is that really it's for ourselves too. We don't even realize it in the moment, which is nice. But afterwards, like, your heart feels good.
Right, because you have that sharing of energy when you're actually close enough to share the energy with one another, whether it's a hug or just that loving, here's a bag of food,
Absolutely.
Just being able to feel that warmth.
Or a card. Mm-hmm. You don't have to be, that's something that our women's group has taken on. Well, I think we've done for many years, is
Sunshine
sending
lady.
cards to people. And I don't know how I became the sunshine lady, but I am full of sunshine.
That should be your thumbnail.
Yeah, full of sunshine. Here I am. The sun just comes out behind us in the middle of this gloomy, rainy week. But the job of the sunshine lady is, when there's a need in the community, I step up on behalf of the church and prepare cards or flowers or gift baskets or something. And it doesn't mean going out and spending $200 on a flower arrangement. It's something as simple as coming to coffee hour and saying, our friend so-and-so is really struggling right now. Like they lost their mother, they broke their leg, they did this, they did that. And the community, knowing that person, caring about that person, wants to offer their words of encouragement and wants to offer their love and support. And they just leave beautiful notes in cards and we send them to them. And I think of our UPS guy.
Yes.
And I mean, talk about community. Our local UPS guy is so kind and has donated plants to our children's program to sell every year to benefit our church school and other activities and sending kids to summer camp. And we made it a point this year to send him thank you cards from the children. Like they made these beautiful cards and sent them to him, and receiving a picture back from him of all of these cards up on his refrigerator from all of the church school students that had taken the time to do it. And you can tell that it meant something to him. You can tell that.
Absolutely.
That he appreciated it and that he felt seen. And that was our goal.
Right. I love that, you're building the church from the inside out.
Mm-hmm.
I think oftentimes people are like, how do we evangelize? How do we,
Yes,
spread the good
evangelizing.
news? That's how you spread the good news. You help those in your community when in need, and it trickles out.
The community sees you living an Orthodox life. They
Right.
see you acting as Christ did.
Yes.
They see Christ in you, not you handing them a pamphlet.
Right. Right. And, and then you realize what your purpose is. That's your purpose. To live in a Christ-like way, to serve and to love and to give and to help one another.
Now, not to be too harsh on our friends on the internet, but this is something that comes up a lot in basically every women's Orthodox group that I am in, and you are probably also in privately. Secretly. Secretly, maybe was
We'll
a better
see for
word
how
for it.
long.
We'll see for how long, yeah. After we change our names and but in all of those groups, a question or kind of a complaint that comes out a lot is, I don't have any community near me. Our church does nothing. We don't have anybody to lean on or to be friends with, or I go to this church and it has 200 people and we don't have any way of connecting with other women. So I need a solution, basically. Or they're just there to vent, which is generally what happens. But there's a problem with that. What's the problem with that, Anna?
Well, as my husband likes to say, don't complain unless you have at least two solutions. But really, the solution is, and this is what I always recommend to women on the internet, talk to your priest and get his blessing to start whatever it is, whatever ministry it is that you want and that you see a need for.
We love you, sisters, but
step up.
Step up and do something. Like if you want to be the change, then be the change.
Yeah.
If you are having problems, you're probably not the only one feeling that way.
Right.
There are probably other women that are also isolated, but the beautiful thing is that you have recognized the problem, and another woman that is feeling isolated might not have recognized the problem. So that's where you need to step up and say, our women here are really isolated. We need something that brings us together. I would like to do a craft night or a Bible study or a this or a that or a mother blessing or a gardening group or a sewing group,
knitting group,
or literally anything. So go ask your priest and do it.
Yeah. And I do know, I actually saw this recently, like if for whatever reason your priest might not be supportive of that, well, then you can host things in your own home.
with friends,
and invite your church sisters to join you. That's a viable option.
which is scary to do with people that you're not very close with, but you'll probably form beautiful friendships out of it.
Yeah, I know personally, like when I would maybe let go of other ideas of friends and just be open to receiving, beautiful people walked into my life. And, God answered my prayers once I was willing to kind of let go of that control or idea of what in my head of what friends I should have and, what community. He knows best. So another aspect of community is we want to fight that isolation, and have that spiritual support. And I think when we confess our struggles to one another, it doesn't replace actual confession, but it helps us to heal. Oftentimes, my priest has said that sometimes, even if you go to confession and you still don't feel healed necessarily from it, you're still struggling, that it might help you to talk with friends or a godparent or somebody, maybe more on your level, if you're a woman, another woman.
Yeah.
And that kind of help with the healing process.
It's difficult to struggle in private with
Right.
issues.
Right.
And even once you've confessed it to your priest, you have him to lean on, but he's there to give your general guidance, and then you might still feel isolated. And I know personally, I always find it difficult to find that fine line of not complaining about issues or struggles that you're having, or
gossip,
feeling like you're gossiping about issues. And for me, I think that an important part of that is picking out someone that you trust and can lean on in a mentor sense. And for a lot of women that are converts, that person can be their godmother. For me, my godmother is not even Orthodox. I mean, that's a whole nother
Same.
that's a whole nother thing, but my godfather is, but my godmother was not. That's not my decisions, But it means that my godmother was more of a symbolic person than a physical person to lean on with questions and struggles in life. And so if you don't have a godmother, it is important to find someone that you trust and that you know that they know your heart and that they don't see what you're doing as gossiping. They realize that your intentions are pure and you're asking them and expressing to them struggles that you're having because you have nowhere else to turn.
Well, and that is an aspect, when you do go to confession, you're not really supposed to give names or too much of the details because you don't want to drag the priest into your drama and create issues for him either. Like he doesn't need to know those types of details. He needs to know the sins,
But you're not there to tattle on people either.
Right, exactly. And you don't want to gossip to the priest in your confession. And, so to have, yes, your godmother or a god sister, soul sister.
I just put all of my struggles on Anna.
Yeah.
We just didn't leave our last podcast recording session for an hour after we were done because I was like, so Anna, life is rough. Here's all of my struggles.
Right. To find someone who's not going to get wrapped up in your drama.
And draw you back to the church.
Right.
And draw you back to, okay, we've gone all the way over here.
I hear you.
I hear you. I see you. Your feelings are valid. Let's just reel it back in a little bit.
Right.
And come up with like the reasonable way to move forward. Like what do we do now? How do we move on? How do we not dwell or linger on something that might have happened?
Right. Right. So it's somebody to help keep you accountable.
And that's what a godmother should be.
Mm-hmm. Right. To be able to ask them those questions or talk to them when you're struggling, or even when you're not struggling, with your joys, share your joys. I love hearing good news from my godchildren.
I know.
And I mean, yeah, that's really your God family, inviting them over for meals or birthday parties or whatnot. I find, that helps keep that bond going, especially for children and their godparents. I always try to invite godparents to their birthdays just so they know that they are there for those important moments of their life as they grow, and so they feel comfortable, because obviously when children are born into the faith, their godparents are much older than them. So there is that age difference, but keeping that community, keeping them involved so they feel comfortable going to them once they are older and grown and still have that relationship with their godparents.
And part of the responsibility of the godparent being that they are there to offer support to the godchildren when they need it.
Yeah. Right. When you're having those doubts.
Like, even if we might seem busy, we'll still be there.
Yeah.
Just reach out.
Yeah. Even if it's texting.
Just
fine.
text me. I know I seem busy, but just text me.
So another issue that we'll see sometimes on the interwebs.
On the interweb.
Is a feeling of vulnerability. What if people judge me? Especially converts coming in, they might have a lot of baggage.
We all have a lot of baggage, and we're not
Right.
converts.
Yes, exactly. Precisely. There's
a lot of baggage.
We've just aired all of our baggage by now.
Our baggage, I just wear mine on my sleeve, so it's...
Yeah. Here we are. We're giving it to the internet.
Here we are.
The internet.
And the people that can hide things are just like, it baffles me. Like, when you can know someone for so many years and then find something out that's like, you did what? This happened what? And I'm like, I don't think that could ever happen. My life is like
an open book.
Hi, I'm Kyra. Nice to meet you. Would you like to know where I grew up
Word
and
vomit.
how I came from and about my siblings and my friends and my family and where I live and what I like to do for fun? You don't want to know? Okay, I'll tell you anyway. But the struggles of the interweb.
Right. Yes. So there are sometimes divides in parishes. You might have a more elderly parish, and then all of a sudden new convert might come in, or a child is growing up and is now a young adult. And so oftentimes we might hear that women are like, I'm the only young mom and I feel like I don't have anyone. But I'll tell you, like, I feel like I'm best friends with some of the older women in our parish. Like,
yeah,
they're at least my best friends. I don't know if I'm their best friend, but
sometimes they think that I'm you because they can't see very well. That's sweet too. When they hug me and say, hi, Anna, and I say, hi.
But, it's, don't let age, I think that's something when we were a kid, age is such an important thing. But once you're an adult, you realize that you're kind of all on the same page now. And yes, older women are going to be more wise and they're going to have much more experience. And so don't diss that, and
it's a great thing.
Right. And older women,
run to them.
You can feel young and youthful and joyful by,
empowering,
being
by
around,
helping them.
Right. Helping them and being around young women. So I think that's also something to keep in mind, is try not to look at age, or even I have kids, they don't have kids. Yes, I understand. Like, it is good to have people who understand kids, but we have plenty of people who don't have children, but you can still relate with them.
You learn a lot from them about life and about other people. And even if you don't learn something specific from their life, you can learn that everyone walked a very different life than you. And look at where you all wound up.
Yeah.
And look at where you all are now.
Right.
And I know one of my sister-in-laws, and I'm sure she won't mind me talking a little bit about it because she's shared many times before, but she has developed closer relationships with a couple women in our parish who, when they were elderly and about to pass and not doing well, and she just spent time with them and set really a beautiful example of what it means to be community until the end. When someone is ill and they are dying and they might feel alone, she really stepped up and she was there for the people and said, I'm going to come sit with you and be with you and listen if you want to talk or if you don't want to talk. And I know that it did great things for her heart too. And I'm sure that it did wonderful things for those women also.
Yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of elderly pass away the last few years in our parish.
Yeah.
And it was something 10 years ago, we were all like, oh, it's going to be a rough neck. In like 10 years, there's a lot of people that might not be around. And so we've had to go through that. And it is nice to be able to have that time with them when they're nearing the end. That's a really special time to be able to be with them. Just recently we had somebody who I've known my whole life who's gone to church with me since I was a baby. And, she passed away this year. And I felt so blessed to be able to have at least one day where I was able to go and sit with her. And we looked at old pictures together, pictures I had never seen. And, I know she was so appreciative that I stopped by, even though I had like 1 hour without children. I'm here.
Yeah.
Like, let's chat, let's hug, let's cry, let's, and just to see these old pictures of her and her as a teenager. And, it was so special. So definitely do not let age be a deterrent when forming community.
And a lot of women, when they're much older and realize that their time on this earth is coming to an end, they really slow things down and help you realize that you need to slow things down in life, and that you don't need to rush around and go from here to there or there to there and always be doing something and always be jumping around. They show you that it's okay to sit and talk and have a tea and not worry about anything else, because they're showing you that there will be a time in your life that you won't have a lot of things to worry about or do.
Yeah.
Other than just to pray and to be calm and peaceful.
We pray we make it to that point.
And we pray we make it to that point in this crazy world.
Yes.
We're also a little scared to make it to that point in this crazy world. Yeah.
I mean, and oftentimes we will compare our lives to one another. But when you talk with one another, you realize, oh no, there's just a lot I can learn from that person and not maybe feel like that you can't connect with that person.
Yeah.
But if you actually just give them a chance, even if you live different lifestyles or have different interests, try not to compare.
We're all women.
Right.
We all have something in common.
Right.
Whether we realize it right away or not, we all have something in common.
Yeah. And we can learn from one another, no matter if if they're a working mom versus stay-at-home mom, or a homeschool mom, or a public school mom, or a elderly mother, great-grandmother, and a young first-time mother. We all have
A divorced mother.
A divorced mother, yes. And, we have something to learn from everyone. And it just helps you have empathy for those around you who might not be in the same position as you. And you can better understand and love and give that love, even if you don't understand.
Yeah.
When you have true humility, it opens the space for love.
I looked down at your mug that says "I love you" as you said that, and it was just so perfect.
So I picked it. I was like, "Oh, that's a nice mug." I love you. I love you.
Perfect. I know it is hard telling women though that are struggling with their lack of community that they need to go out and find it. But just keep in mind there are resources, even if it's not in your own church. Just just spend a little bit of time looking. You will find something, and pray that the Lord opens your eyes up to find something. And I was a member for a few years of a local moms group that was just a Christian-based moms group. And I met so many wonderful women there. And it opened up this opportunity of like me being able to have my own moms group that we just do things together and just get to spend time with other Christian moms. And there are things there. If you look, there's something there.
Yeah, because I
And if you really can't find it, then send us an email and we'll help you find it.
No, and I still remember that, when you had just, I think, had your first baby, and we were, friends, but yeah, we lived like almost an hour away from each other. So, because you're the opposite direction from church than I was. And, so it wasn't that we weren't friends, but I was like, you'll find your people, like just give it a little time.
Okay.
I know. And you were like, okay, but then you did, you started meeting moms who lived closer to you and were able to connect with. And so it's possible, but you just have to have an open heart, and an open mind, and not be judgmental, and
put yourself out there and not be afraid of getting turned down. It's like dating.
Yeah, right. It is kind of like, sometimes you're like, I remember that feeling when I was, when you're a young mom with little ones and you're trying to make mom friends, and you're all kind of feeling each other out. Like, are we going to get along? And sometimes people like, women might be like extra pushy, and you're like, I don't know if we really are on the same page of
There
life,
was a sweet mom that I wasn't trying to turn her away from being my friend, but she so desperately wanted to be my friend, but it just it was not working out. Our lives just were so different, and like when we would get together, things just did not mesh well, and we just naturally kind of drifted apart. But I'm like, I admire that she tried really hard.
Yeah.
And I did try to be there, but
I know.
it just, you don't have to be best friends with everybody, and you shouldn't be best friends with everybody.
That's another aspect.
Pick your people.
Yeah.
You don't need to have 500. Like you need to have
on your hand,
like 5.
Yeah, 5.
Like, or 1 or 2.
Yeah.
I know
2 or 3 are gathered.
Yeah, where 2 or 3 are gathered. And I mean, I know my other sister-in-law, she also has talked about like just making friends with new people and continuously reaching out to someone and like developing a friendship with someone, and then it just kind of like dissipating out of nowhere, and then just come to find out that the person just had a lot going on in their life. Like it wasn't, they were just really busy at the time, but they actually appreciated that. They were so thankful that she was there to reach out to them continuously, because sometimes, and I know I feel this too, I mean, my friends are, I don't want to use the word annoying about it. They're compassionate and loving about if I don't respond to my messages. And are you alive? Are you okay? Do you need something? And, just being there for someone.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll kind of get the vibe that somebody like wants to be good friends. And it's not that I don't want to, but I'm like, I don't have time to devote. Like, I feel like I'm already slacking as a friend the majority of the time to the friends that are in my life, that I'm like, for your own good, I don't think we should
run away from me.
I'm not being a very good friend right now. I don't have much to give. And
I'm already struggling a lot. You don't want to walk into this circle.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that's okay. Again, it's like knowing your limits. And again, you don't need to have and be friends with tons of people. It's okay.
I've thankfully reached this point in my life that it's just so much chaos that if someone tries walking in that circle, they will willingly turn around and walk out on their own now. They don't even need me.
If you can hang on, great.
If you can join in with all of this, come on in. Like, come on over.
Well, that's why
I think I texted you that the one day. I was like, if you want to come over, it's just me and my friends and our 14 kids, but like, you're more than welcome to. Like, you're like, maybe next week.
No. Yeah, and I find myself sometimes when women might be kind of searching, and I'm like, oh, well, where do you go to church? And if they have a church, then but usually those types of people don't have a church. And so I try to encourage people, like, even if you don't come to my church or an
Just go to
Orthodox
a
church,
church.
go to a church to find community, because it's usually in a church where you're going to find great community.
I wonder why.
I wonder why. And same with kids. If you're trying to find community for kids, there's plenty of youth groups and,
Take your kids places, do something, get involved.
Yeah. There's things out there, but you have to make the effort. You got to.
But it's how life is meant to be. God doesn't just give us everything that we ask of without us putting any effort in. We aren't, I love it when my husband reminds me often that God will provide. And I'm like, yes, he does. But he's not going to just provide if we don't ever try and we don't ever believe and we don't ever actually put our faith and trust in him and show him, like,
Got to do the work.
we are doing the work.
Yeah.
And we are doing the work because we love you and we know that you love us and we appreciate you giving us this beautiful life. And we realize that while we are not deserving of this life and the wonderful things that you've given us, that in order to get those things, we need to try.
It's a relationship.
It is a relationship. It's not just one-sided.
Right.
You can't complain that the Lord isn't answering your prayers when you're not praying.
Touche. That's a good one. Amen.
We'll just end it right there.
So community isn't something we just wait for. It's something we create. It's a act of love at a time. It's when we as women gather together, we're reflecting the Theotokos and the saints before us. And the goal isn't just friendship, it's holiness. I'm going to end with this beautiful little quote by Saint Dorotheos of Gaza. When we draw nearer to God, we draw nearer to each other.
Amen.
As my cup says, I love you. You are loved. So if you don't have community, you have us.
You have us, and our little round table is still standing.
And a new plant.
And it's a new plant. We can still call it a plant. It's not dead yet. So.
And we'll share links below of ways that you can create community in your life if you don't have it or if you need more of it.
And if you're really struggling, you can reach out to us.
Yeah, let us know.
And we will do our best to help you find community.
Right. Let us know in the comments below if, ways that you've found community in your life or in your parish life, different ideas. Share with us and with everybody else so we're able to help build up that community.
Absolutely. Thank you for tuning into Veiled in Grace. We are an Orthodox women's lifestyle podcast. Please be sure to do all of the things to share our podcast with your friends, like, subscribe, leave a comment, and help us get the word out so that other women can find us.
We love you. God bless you.
What shall I render to